Hello everyone, a little bit late. Welcome back to another Tomato Sauce stream. Today, we're going to be doing a lot of yapping. I mean, you're probably used to that by now. You know, we're kind of the yapping guy, that's kind of our thing. But what I wanted to do today, because we haven't really been here a lot, is I kind of want to talk about things that can be happening at Worlds, right? And that kind of goes across everything, right? We do have the speed side of things, we do have the rush side of things, we do have the brand new world that should be announced. I'm interested to think about what the meta is going to be like for both formats going into the World Championship, as well as what products we might get announced at Worlds. So it's kind of an everything sort of thing, right? So, first things first. Hello, I'm back. We did have a little bit of a break. I did mention this the last time we were streaming, but my health was suffering a little bit, which wasn't the best. But beyond that, then work really started ramping up and it actually got really awkward. Because it was like, I would like to take some time off from work, ideally, because I need to recover my own health. And then it was like, but work now is demanding your attention, so you've now got to do that. So it kind of wasn't the best timing, but everything has sort of died down now a bit. We have been able to get a little bit of rest. Work has sort of subsided a little bit now. It's kind of fine. The big, annoyance was I think it was last Sunday. I think it was a week ago today, which is when I wanted to stream originally. I was unable to, and I actually ended up going, as part of work, I was fine, right? But as for part of work, I had to go to A&E, and I was just in there for 6 hours. And I don't know if anyone's ever been to A&E, but it is, it's basically just like limbo. You just kind of sit in a room for just so long, and it is so, mentally draining. It is so mentally draining. But that's all done. It's all fine. Everything's hunky-dory. We got through that. We're back in, and we did start playing in a couple of different Rush Tour tournaments. We did play in one yesterday where we did play Joint Deck. It went okay. I think I would change the deck quite a lot, but again, we haven't really, I don't really revisit decks in videos, right? Unless they get, brand new cards. The only new cards we really got that's kind of universal is Shiny Shady, and I didn't want to just, do every single deck, but now with Shiny Shady, so we kind of haven't really done that. But. First things first, let's see who we have in the chat. We have Luis Fernando, who comes in with the first Tomato Reborn of the Deaths. Oh yeah, we got Whistling Bird in the chat. He lives and hopefully is healthy. We have Cyclone Valley, who doesn't like adverts. We've learned this about Cyclone. We have Hidden Bankai. Yo Boys just got back from a 1 month long Duel Links break. I mean, I don't know if this is the best time to come back or the worst. It's kind of a weird one. I guess it depends on what format, but even then, both formats are in a bit of a weird spot right now, so who knows? We have Corey in the chat. Yes, I made it in time for the super mega extra yapping stream. I mean, you know what we do. You know what we do here. It's always the yapping. Should I go for Shiny Shady or save for Tiger? My opinion is Tiger has potential to be good. Shiny Shady is good. And unless something really weird happens, Shiny Shady should remain good for a really long time. So I think it does make sense to invest into Shady. That being said, it's a weird one. I'm wondering if Shiny Shady is going to get a lot of reprints, and that's why they made it an SR. It's we got, for example, the Barrier, right? And that was a long, long time ago, nowhere near as powerful as Shiny Shady, right? But it was a generic trap card, and then they started just reprinting it everywhere, right? It was in every single structure deck. Every time there was a deck build, they would slot it in again. So, I could see Shiny Shady getting, aggressively reprinted in the future. But again, that's all just speculation. It's all just speculation. Shady will 100% include to the end of service. So, yeah, I mean, most likely. We have Hikari in the chat. Hello, Hikari. Exclamation mark Hikari in the chat. We got to give the shout out to Hikari. It was Hikari's tournament we played in yesterday. And we had a great time in it. We also, my team did also take part in the Rush Duel Dynasty Team War yesterday. I was there. I was present, like, just yapping along, like, giving my input and everything. I didn't actually end up playing, but it was a good time. Obviously, very, very happy that my team did manage to win that as well, so huge shout out to them as well. We have the Dr. Alex in the chat. Hello, hello, Dr. Alex. Yakaba Man is here. Went as good as Jointech can. Jointech feels okay, right? Jointech has some big issues, right? Jointech is not very good at dealing with set monsters. That's a pretty big issue, especially when the main trap card now forces monsters to go into defense mode. So it's like, my opponent does a thing. I'll flip them both face down. And then I am no longer capable of dealing with them. Right? It's a very strange situation. So what you can do, and this is what I was doing originally, was playing Shield Boring Kong, because that now plays into Shady, right? I flip your guy down, Shield Boring Kong can now pop a face down monster, gain the attack boost. That's now a monster out of the way, so you can get a direct attack, and it's going to be a 3300 attack, most likely. The issue with that is Shield Boring Kong it's a bit of a brick, depending on the situation. It can be really, really strong, but it can also be really, really awkward. I don't think there's, like, a best way to run the deck yet. But I think with Shady being in the meta, you really want to play a deck that can take advantage of defense position monsters. It's the exact same reason that I think that Pyro's in a weird spot. Because Pyro has everything it needs to be a really strong deck, except it doesn't beat set 3. Like, that one core concept holds it back from being really, really strong. Because, like, the deck is kind of amazing, right? The skill gives you, like, a free +2. You get, like, 2 bodies every turn, which is, like, when you say that out loud, that sounds ridiculous, right? Some of the boss monsters are really, really good. You have really good recursion. You have a really good way to reduce the attack of your opponent's board. You have, like, potential of, like, burn options, because you can play Extra Spice with it. There's, like, a lot of stuff you can do with it. You just can't get damage in through set 3 outside of, like, Extra Spice or Stop Defense or something. And that's just, like, so awkward. It's so very awkward. It's so unbelievably awkward. What would you change for Jointech? I think the biggest thing for me was Ghost Cyclone felt like it was dead so often, and my opponents could just play around Ghost Cyclone. So I would immediately swap that out for Barrage of Steel. Because just having more control on when I can activate the spell trap, I think is more advantageous than occasionally getting a draw. Because that draw, one, rarely comes up. Like, it's nice when it does, but it's like 1 in, like, 6 games do you get, like, a draw. And because we do have the ability to recycle our graveyard, right? We do have Jointech Rex. But we're turboing the graveyard so much harder than we're recovering our deck that our graveyard always has more than 3 monsters in it. So it's not like, you know, you could play with some decks where you'd be like, oh, use TSA, that'll empty the graveyard, and now I can get the extra draw for cycling. That doesn't really happen with this deck. It's very awkward. It can be very, very awkward. Shady to 1. Ooh, I don't know about that. I think the thing is, Konami released Shady because they wanted more traps. So if they immediately restricted it, it would undo the change that they promoted. It would be very strange. I think you just keep it as is. We have Cocktail Samurai, also known as Whoopie, in the chat. Hello, Tomato. Greetings from Madagascar. Big fan. Hello, hello. Yuhi is a bum, so makes sense his deck is. Wow. Why the Yuhi hate? Yuhi's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with Yuhi. We have Henry in the chat. Hello, hello. I tend to disagree. Is there RRF drama coming soon? Nah, never, never, never. In the next Tomato video. RRF disbanding? Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Oh wow, we haven't had a bot in ages. I thought we might have been falling off, but bam, there's the bot in here to let us know that we are still around. Looks like Simo is doing a celebration stream marathon soonish. He talked about wanting to know a bit more about Rush a while ago. Would you be down to do some yapping with him? So, I mean, you know me, I love the sound of my own voice, right? Like, I'm always down to yap. I love yapping about things I'm passionate about, and we're quite passionate about Rush tools. So, like, I would say yes, but at the same time, part of me thinks that Simo is in such a different, like, Simo is so much bigger than me that I feel like it would be really weird, right? I think I'm not the kind of person who would get, like, starstruck, right? Like, if I saw a celebrity or something, I'd quite happily go up and say hello. But there is a certain thing of me not wanting to come across as clout chasing, right? I don't like the idea of going up to a content creator that is a lot bigger than me, and then like trying to get on their channel to get my own name out there. That just doesn't sit well with me. But that might just be because that's like a very British thing of like, we're going to be very humble, we're going to be very like stay under the radar sort of thing. So that's how the way I would put it is, if someone like that approached me, I would quite happily do it. I would never approach them. I think that's the way I look at it. Yes. Shady Tattoo still have trap, don't slow down games so much, and doesn't conflict with too many decks. Shady Tattoo, I think would make some sense. I think the thing is, if we put Shady Tattoo, I feel like we have to empty the rest of the limit 2s. Because now you're basically just saying anything that has a limit 2 isn't allowed to play like the really good trap. So we have to work around Shady, which I don't think is even that big of a deal, right? You could just like, some of the stuff in there could just get unhit. There was whatever, right? I think it would probably be fine. The thing is, I think a lot of decks are only playing 2 Shady at the moment anyway. Like, a lot of Light Galaxy lists are only on 2 Shady. A lot of Spellcaster lists are only on 2 Shady. I don't know which decks are, like, super all-in on Shady. I'm trying to think. Like, you'd have to be, like... Because the counterpoint is, in order to counteract Shady, we have been seeing a lot more people running Back Row Hate. And that's taking up more spell trap slots. So if you're now adding 3 Shady to your deck, because you want 3 Shady, but you also want the counter to Shady, so you want 3 Back Row Hate, that's now like 6 spell traps. So like, it might naturally just fall down to 2 copies of Shady is the norm anyway. But, again, I haven't played a ton of Rush over the last week. Like, I played like a ton of Rush at the very start when Shady came out, but we haven't really done a load of it since then, so I might be off the mark. But hello, Manicus. Welcome. Do you think that type changing machine will be banned in some update? I don't think type change beam is going to get banned. I think as we go forward, I think type change beam's power will go down and down and down. So I think as we get more trap cards, and as we just have more generic things that people... Like, we might even be at that stage now, where because we have the, like, Compulse, and we have, like, 3 copies of Shady, that's already 4, like, decent traps that kind of directly stop Ashura Star OTK. So, like, maybe it would even be fine now. But I don't think it'll be banned, personally. So I do actually have to set up a contract for you. Oh, yeah. Sure, I'm a good player. I have optimal Tearfing build. I mean, I don't even know what optimal Tearfing build looks like these days. I don't know, because does optimal Tearfing these days, does that play Back Row Hate? Because part of me thinks it should. Because, like, the issue of Tearfing is you go all in on this one thing, and if it gets stopped by anything, you basically just kind of lose. So you kind of have to play Back Row Hate? I don't know, it's a weird one. Send it, we will discuss the build internally, and if we like it, you join. The fuck does humble mean? Is that Latin for God? Right, I think it is a very British thing, right? And feel free to disagree with me, Manicus. It's a very British thing to, like, we're the kind of people that, like, we don't like to kick up a fuss, right? We are the kind of people where... There was a good anecdote about this before, which was like, if someone comes round and you don't want them in your house, right? But you don't want to be rude. So, like, even though you don't really want to accept them into your home, you let them in anyway, and then, like, you offer them a drink, like, you offer them a cup of tea, you offer them some biscuits, maybe some jammy Dodgers, maybe a Jaffa cake. And you've got to make sure that you got to treat them well, you got to respect them, because you have this, like, perceived notion of, I need to be polite because that's how I was raised. And that's how I've always seen it. And so as a British person, it is the epitome of, I need to appear polite whilst on the inside being like, could you just leave? Could you please just leave? And you're like, oh no, do you want another biscuit? You know, oh, do you want another cup of tea? I'll get you another one if you want one. right? That's kind of how we act here in England. At least that's how I've been brought up. Like Mataro with Type Change Beam is disgusting. Oh yeah, if it resolves, it's still kind of gross. But like now we have ways to interact with it. Before we didn't, right? Now we do. 30 card, 28 monsters, Pog, equip spell. See, I think that's now not going to cut it. Because now, before, it was like, this is now great if my opponent doesn't have legend. Now it's like, this is now great if my opponent doesn't have any trap. So like, there's now 4 cards that could just stop it. So I don't know. Also, I leave for 1 month, and why the hell are there more clowns? I mean, the clowns are fine, I think. The clowns are not like a very, very strong deck. So I personally don't really have any issue with them at the moment. I think Type Change Machine is going to be banned. I mean, if it was going to be banned, I think it would have already have been. Like, they've already got it down to 1, and they've put some other really good cards at 1. So, right now, it's not really seeing much play. Like, most people would rather play Pot of Greed or Compulsory Evacuation Device. So, I think it's probably fine. Paint me a detailed picture. How many globs? Hero 3. Just run 9 back row hate. Ooh, that might be a bit too much barracks. That might be a bit too much. The only possible answer is 3. How many level 4s then? And what is your plan for Shiny Shady? Matarium with Type Changing Machine is disgusting. I mean, we keep bringing that up, Henry. Again, if it lands, it's an OTK. But like right now, there is one of the arguably strongest decks in the game is just a warrior deck. So you don't even need it for that. You can just Assure Star and do it. So like, it's kind of what it is, right? What is Shiny Shady, and why would I have a plan for it? Tiffing has no issue. I don't know what you're talking about, best deck. I actually don't very much like Voidvelk. Just kidding, no mercy. I don't like Galaxy at all. I play Galaxy. But Voidvelk is pretty bad in my opinion. I'm just waiting to Woolly Wonderland to be meta. Who wants to break it to Henry? It's probably never going to be meta. Never say never. But its chances aren't great. Its chances are not great. Nerding Vanguard made me not grind Duel Links. So Vanguard is like, I was thinking about this the other day because we were talking before about Shadowverse and about how like the difference between like aggro, control, and mid-range decks. And I was thinking about it, and I'm kind of the opinion I don't really like aggro decks in a mana-based system. But in Vanguard, aggro decks are so much fun. Like, it's a completely different game, right? Fundamentally, just the way the game works is so different. But playing an aggro deck in Vanguard is like, it is so enjoyable. Like, I love it so much. Meek Chang Maximum. If we ever get that card, which it's, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to. But if we ever did, there's a chance. There's always a chance. You would need to bribe a Duel Links employee for the yellow button that says you can win if you have Meek. Imagine, right. Imagine this. We don't get the Meek Chan Maximum as an actual card, but we get a special Duel Links exclusive skill that summons the Meek Chan Maximum if you can summon 3 regular Meeks. So like you go Secret Order, Secret Order, Secret Order, activate skill, Maximum. And it's like a Duel Links exclusive. That would be so much fun. But absolutely ludicrous. But I would love it so much. What's your favorite clan? I'm going to say mine is Tachikaze. Alright, I really like Tachi. Alright, so we're getting a little bit off topic. We're going into Vanguard a little bit here. So for people that don't know, Tachikaze is like robot dinosaurs. They're like dinosaurs with like either cybernetic implants or like robotic armor. So like they're not like Jointech. They're like actual dinosaurs with like cannons and guns and cool shit all over them. I really like Tachi. When I played Vanguard Zero, Tachi was my main clan, which made it so much more painful when they never got their new support, which made me feel so sad. But if I'm being completely honest, my favorite archetype or my favorite clan. Oh, it's actually so hard because there's so many. There are so many. Let me see if I can, because I have a I did have. Let me see if I have it still. I had like a tier list that I made like ages ago. Yes, we do. All right. Now, what's the best way to get this on stream? That's the next question. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. So this was my old tier list that I made. We'll go over to Duel Links real quick. We'll jump over here. All right. So this was my tier list that I made ages and ages and ages ago for my Vanguard clans. I don't know if I still agree with this. Because this was a long time ago. This was a long, long time ago. But I really like Spike Brothers, and I do really like Great Nature. I really like Tachi. I really like Gold Paladin. I think, if anything, I would bump Nova Grappler up a bit. I think that's one I would do. I would bump Nova up. Why is Mega Colony in would play? But you're right. So I played Mega Colony at the beginning of D. Not D. The beginning of V. The beginning of V series is when I played Mega Colony. So I didn't play like the what's the format called? The like the format with I'm really bad at like knowing the names. I don't play like the D-Gen version of Mega Colony where like you floodgate your opponent. Premium, thank you. Yeah, I don't play that. What heck are that symbols? So these are the clan symbols from Cardfight Vanguard, which is a different card game. But yeah, I played Mega Colony then. Yeah, I would probably move some of this around, to be honest. As you could probably tell, like, I was never a big, like, dragon fan. Like, the dragon stuff has never super interested me. Granblue that Higgins quite based. Oh, yeah. I still play Vanguard, but just Deer Days. I would like to play Deer Days, but I refuse because it's ludicrously expensive. And I'm just like, it is not worth it. And then to keep up with all the other sets as well is just so expensive. Like, it's absolutely ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. And I'm just not about that. Like, I just don't want to support that game. Which, like, part of me is like, if enough people just boycotted that game, then they would reduce the price. But they just never do. It never even goes on sale. It's so ludicrously annoying. But after that little bit of a detour, I'm sure most people are here for Duel Links, since we're in the Duel Links section. And we are basically a Duel Links streamer. So we're going to get back on track with Duel Links, I think. So we have had some quite interesting updates. We've had some new cards come into the game. And we also had some new leaks as well. So we probably want to touch on the leaks as well a bit. I mean, Bushiroad had to care about their game. But that's the thing, right? I feel like there are so many ways to play Cardfight Vanguard online for free that feel better than Deer Days. Even, because I played the Deer Days 1 demo, and I was like, this doesn't feel good to play. Like, it looks nice, it looks pretty. I like the idea of there being like an RPG story, the whole like visual novel aspect of it. I think that's really cool. I do like the game, right? In terms of like the actual meta of the game and like how it all plays and all that. But like, it is so clearly like a Switch game that's been ported. And it feels so bad because of that. Like, quality of life, whenever I play any card game, I should be able to click on a card and drag it to where I want to put it on the board. That should not be like an afterthought. Like, anyone playing on a mouse or a phone should be able to do that, right? It's absolutely ludicrous that you cannot. It's absolutely ludicrous. Vanguard 2 is where it's at. But Deer Days 2. I mean, well, plus it also gets a bit weird. Hi, Tomato Sauce. Bye, Tomato Sauce. Hello, Murata. Welcome. But back to the topic at hand. We did get some brand new updates. We got our first look at Tiger. I'm never going to say Teodosia Callisto. It's Tiger, let's be honest, it's Tiger. So we did see this, and we did see that we're getting Ensemble Fighter the Music Fiend, Botan the Music Princess, and Horn Knives the Music Princess, which are fine, right? Basically, these, well, especially Botan, hints that we're going to get the fusions. This is something we kind of already expected. We did already predict this. So it's nothing like outlandish, but this now kind of goes maybe we're getting this. Maybe that would be cool, right? Horn Knives is just generically good. This did actually see some very, very, very fringe play in Elemental Heroes. So, I mean, there's a world in which this sees a little bit of play in Elemental Heroes, right? Because it's normal warrior support, so. Maybe has chance. Power to contact fusion arrive in Tiger Box. Alright, my thoughts about contact fusion is I think... Alright, there are two conflicting opinions here, right? So the first is, there would be no way we would get contact fusion, because contact fusion is a mechanic that shouldn't be out for ages and ages and ages. Contact fusion should be a big mechanic, because when it happens in the anime, obviously they make a big deal about it. Like, some archetypes are completely built around it, such as, like, the Neos part of Elemental Heroes. But also, when we get the dark matter stuff, that's, like, massive, and that's, like, the introduction of contact fusion. It was very, very big in the anime. It's a very, very big archetype in the actual TCG as well. So, like, big hoopla. At the same time, it is very similar to equip spells, in that it's sort of a new mechanic. But it's kind of a meh mechanic. Like, equip spells, when they came out in Duel Links, kind of came out with a whimper, right? They came out, everyone went, eh. But it doesn't help that equip spells historically haven't been very good, whereas contact fusions historically have been unbelievably powerful, right? So that might be the difference maker. Because one thing they did do is they've basically skipped over Rovian, which is really weird, because Rovian was an antagonist for an arc, right? She had like a 12-episode mini-arc where she was the antag, and we skipped over her, and we've gone straight to the Galaxy Fusions, which just feels very strange, right? Because we sort of as well skipped over the Lug, which is also strange, because that was the reintroduction of fusions, and we skipped over that. So, whereas in my mind, I was like, okay, so we're going to get equip spells with Rovian, then we're going to get fusions reintroduced with the Lug, then we'd go into, like, maximums, right? It feels like we've messed up the order. And if we've messed up that order, we could mess up any order. So we could just get contact fusions released early. Like, they absolutely could do that. There's no reason they couldn't, other than I think it would feel weird. I'm still on the fence as to whether I think they would do it. But, like, I couldn't just sit here and say to you, there is zero chance. No, there is a chance. There is a chance. We have, what, 6 contact fusions decks? Well, some decks just, like, have contact fusions just kind of shoehorned in the same way that now we're getting decks just have, like, a ritual shoehorned in. Like, Legend, as a deck, just got, like, a ritual that you could just kind of toss in. Like, the whole game plan of the deck doesn't change at all. They just now have a ritual that's just in there. Is Elemental Hero Neos a Legend card in Rush? No, it isn't. Elemental Hero Neos is just a regular-ass guy. You have 3 copies of it. Because it's a normal monster as well, you can play it with Secret Order. It has a bunch of contact fusions, and it has unique contact fusions as well in Rush, which is interesting. I think this Wii World Month, we get Go Rush Maximums, but even those are story-wise still many arcs away. We are currently in Arc 1, and Maximums are Arc 5. So, it depends what we count as an arc, right? Because, in my mind, the very first arc kind of wraps up with Udius versus Zuijo. And then, the second arc, in my mind, is the Rovian arc, where you go to the underground, where the aliens live. Then, it's the Lug arc, I want to say. Again, I'm doing this off memory, so if I'm wrong, you'd have to correct me. Then it's the Lug. After the Lug, it's the rest of the space arc, which is, again, ends in the... It's that guy versus Dormammu, I think. Or that guy versus Yuhi and his sister? And then there's also the other game going on at the same time, which is, again, Zuijo versus Udius. And that's where, like, the big fusions come in. And that's kind of where we are now, right? Because we have Eternal Galactic Oblivion, we have Gigantomachia. Those are the boss monsters from that arc, which is, like, if I'm recalling correctly, Arc 4. And then directly after that is the 5th arc, I think, which is the Maximums. So, like, in my mind, we went Arc 1, and then we skipped 2, straight to Arc 4. So we've skipped over 2 arcs, but the next arc in order is Maximums. That's how I look at it. They announced fusions in the world last year. They might announce contacts this year, maybe. They could. They absolutely could. Neos Dex is a sucks. Neos Dex is actually not bad. It's actually not bad. There was... let me see if I can find it quick, actually, rather than just, like... Just trust me, bro, it's okay. There was a... big... collection of decks from Galaxy Cup. I think I can find them quick. I have to just scroll through. Here we go. Here we go. So I believe there was in here, which translates to English, make my life easier. So this is, for anyone that doesn't know, this is the Galaxy Cup 2025 General Division air representation. So General Division means this is not for the youngsters. This is like the regular ass, you know, teenagers, adults section. So this isn't the kids. And for anyone that doesn't know, Galaxy Cup is sort of like regionals. That's the way to think. Galaxy Cup Finals is sort of like Rush Duel Worlds. Galaxy Cup in general is like regionals. So these are like big regional tournaments. So here we have Chaos Galaxy, or Chaos Ritual even. Chaos Ritual. We have Harpies, Chaos Ritual. This is like 7 Treasure Gaia Slop. Oh, they even call it Shippo Ship plus Gaia. And then here we go. So this is a held July 21st Satellite Shop Supero Winner Hero deck. So this was the hero deck that actually did end up winning the whole thing. And this is an actual Neos Galaxy deck. So this is a Rush Regionals tournament winning list. So, like, you know, it's actually not bad. Maxim's Go Rush makes more sense than Contact. That's at least 1 to 2 years away. Again, I think they could do Contact early. It depends if they want to make a big deal out of it. If they want to make it a big deal, they want to release it as, like, you know, massive update, new world, like the big September update, more Contact fusions here. But I had expected them to make a big deal about equip spells, and then they just didn't. So, but again, I think the difference there could be Contact Fusion is actually a really strong mechanic. Equip spell is quite a weak mechanic. Not following order so much. I think anything's possible. The thing is, they have still, for the most part, followed the order, except the Galaxy Fusions. Those are like the big outlier. Everything else has sort of come out in the right order, except Eternal Galactica Oblivion and Gigantomachia. Outside of them, the rest of it's kind of fine. So, like, it's really... That's why it caught everyone off guard, I think. Because it was like, why are we going off script so much? Like, don't get me wrong. There's, like, specific cards have come out of really weird places. Like, Imaginary Reactor. Things like... some of the new Red Boot cards are, like, way further on in the future. But, like, other than the few odd cards, the archetype main stuff is coming out sort of in the right place. Yeah, 2 Rovian, 3 the Luke, 4 Dinoir, Duty, Dumamu, and then Phaser. Wait, it's... yeah, 5. Character release-wise, we are in Arc 1. Card-wise, we're all over the place. Yeah, I think... right, Rovian has to be a character, right? Rovian has to be a playable character, surely. That for me, that's the weird thing. I think we could, and it would make a lot of sense to just jump straight to Phaser, right? The only issue I have with that is it would be really weird to release Phaser in September and then release Rovian after Phaser and then the Lug after Phaser. Other than that, it makes perfect sense to me. Probably Damama, Dunwa, Duty to get. Yeah, I wouldn't expect us to get any of those. At least if we do, we'll get them, like, way after. Like, way, way, way later. I didn't say we get those characters. I just said those are their arcs because we don't know the arc names. Yes. Tomato, as you are a very influential person in the community. I'm just a dude that yaps. And you think the maximums would arrive. Many people think so now. It's because, right, for me, it's less about I think it's going to, and more I'm taking a look at all of the evidence we have, and I'm drawing a conclusion, right? It's less about, like, oh, my gut feeling is we could get this, and more, if they're going to do something big, the next big thing would be Go Rush Maximums. That makes sense to me. If they don't want to do something big, then it'll just be a regular-ass box, right? It'll just be in anything. It comes down to, last year at Worlds, they announced Go Rush World. With Go Rush World, we got 2 decks and 2 boxes. Now, we could get 2 decks, 2 boxes again. But we're probably not getting another Rush Duel World, so they might not care as much and just give us 1 box, maybe 1 deck, call it a day, right? So it's hard to know, because again, this is the first time where the future isn't obvious, right? Like last year, we were like, oh, we're probably not going to get Go Rush World because we're so far away from the Go Rush card pool, and then we got it anyway. So like, it's really difficult to predict what's actually going to happen this year. I'm not saying you're wrong or that Maxims can't come sooner or later. Come sooner. Yeah, it's one of those weird ones. Again, it's so difficult. It's so difficult to actually know. Is that Gale Fang I see in the chat? Hello, hello, good morning. And no way we don't get Yuna and Rovian. I mean, we're going to get Yuna and Rovian, right? Like, there's no way we don't... Alright, this might sound weird. I think we could skip Rovian. I don't think we're going to. I think we could. I think we could come back and give Rovian later. And the only reason I say that is because we've already skipped over her. So, like, again, character release-wise, we haven't. Because the latest Go Rush character... Who is the latest Go Rush character? Was it... I'm going to check quick before my old adult brain is unable to keep up with this. Is it Manabu was the latest one? It is. It's actually Manabu. Which is so weird. It's been a year... And we've had 2 new Go Rush characters. Like, we had 3 on release, and then just 2 more, and that's it. That's such a slow cadence. Rovi and Yuna, Asaka the Lug, maybe Neanderstar, and then would be Phaser. I really don't know what to do. I think we could get Neanderstar, but I think Neanderstar will be treated like Terza, where she'll come out as an NPC, and then, like, way later on, down the line, when they're just like, it's time to release a new character, out of story order, they'll just give her to us as a character. In the same way that we just got, like, regular-ass Marek, right? Obviously, in the DM story, we've kind of exhausted the pool, and now they're just giving us whatever. So I could see it being that kind of character, where we will get it, but, like, way later. Okay, but what if we get Max and not Phaser? We get the Galaxy one and Blaze Fiends. I'm starting to think Ritual can come because it doesn't affect anything timeline-wise. Right, so the problem Ritual has is, depending on the rituals that you get, they're very, very powerful. Like, they're exceedingly powerful. So you either have to, like, massively hamstring them, or accept that the meta is just going to be ritual meta forever, right? So, like, you could do things like slap a load of limits on them, take away a load of their support cards. If you were to give, like, Magician of Black Chaos, you could just give us that and, like, neither of the other 2 ritual monsters. But then it feels like watering it down too much. I don't know. If Phaser comes, does that mean we'll skip Tremolo Sea Serpents, or will they be bundled along? I would think they would either be bundled along, or they would be shortly afterwards. That would be my prediction. On the one hand, I really want my guy Phaser and his amazing deck. On the other hand, those other characters are also so cool. Yeah. Like, the Lug especially is, like, such... he's such an interesting character, and his deck is really cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of Rovian as a character, and I'm not a big fan of Rovian's deck. So, like, if we skipped Rovian, I wouldn't be, like, super upset. But it is a character I would like to revisit, right? Like, I'm of the opinion we don't need Rovian right now. But I want Rovian eventually. Sort of like Neanderstar. Except I would actually really like Neanderstar, because I think having Neanderstar skills would be awesome. Because I think Neanderstar's deck is really fun. But again, Neanderstar is another problematic character, because the way that Neanderstar's deck works is it kind of revolves around a Mirror Force trap card. So it's like, it's back to like, what are we doing with this? Yuka, Ogre Rush. Yes, yes. That would be weird, but hey, Blaze Fiends are my dudes, so hell yeah. I think it would make sense. What I would like, right? And this makes sense to me. We release a deck that is a maximum theme deck. And that deck would either have to be a Yuga deck that is the Skystream maximum, or Blaze Fiends would be a really cool place to put them, just slap it into a deck. I think that would be awesome. And then, like, you release that around the same time as a maximum box, and then just have maximums come out in a big way. Again, in my head, it just makes so much sense, and it's something you can get everyone really excited for. You remember maximums? You remember how cool that mechanic was? Here's a load of them all at once. Here's a new deck with maximums. Here's a new box with maximums. Here's a new character with maximums. And you just be like, bah, massive update, huge, big September. But like, if you don't do that, I feel like the September update is just going to be something kind of mediocre. Again, you could do something out of left field. Like, you could do rituals, you could do contact. It would be very strange. And those mechanics, like we say, are very, very powerful. So it would massively change the way the game is played. You could still do it. You could absolutely do it. But I don't think you would get the same fanfare with those as you would if you release the maximums. Because there's just so much maximum content. There's so much. And so much of it is at varying power levels. And you give different skills to, like, tweak them and make some of them better and some of them worse. So, in my mind, maximum is just, it's easy. It's like the freest win they could get. So that's why I like the idea of it so much. There's no reason to add Rovian outside of story at the moment. We've had equips, and that was her thing. Well, the reason to add Rovian would be if you want to specifically add Music Princess skills. Not Music Princess. Wind Psychic. What's it called? Bandito? Music Bandits? Whatever that... Wind Psychic. If you want to add Wind Psychic skills, that would be the reason to add Rovian. Especially if there's multiple you want to add, right? Konami need to get a grip and start releasing 2 characters a month and maybe 2 boxes a month. I think, in my opinion, they released Rush, and one of the big deciding factors for putting Rush in the game was to slow down the cadence of the game, because they never want the game to catch up. They don't want Speed to catch up to Master Duel. They don't want Rush to catch up to OCG. They want to have a big barrier between one game and the next to keep it always relevant. So I think, if anything, they don't want to speed it up. As much as I would love to see it sped up. More cards is more fun, right? But I just feel like they don't want to. We'll probably see Contact before Rituals. I would expect that as well. But does that mean skipping Dark Meister or bringing her out of the timeline's timing? I think you just... in my mind, you bring out Contact when it makes sense to, which is, like, after Kawaii, right? You do Kawaii's whole thing, and then we do Contacts after that. That makes sense to me. Rovian is a nice design character, but her deck looks so lackluster design-wise. Yeah, it's a bit awkward. Release Otis. I mean, you could. You could release the Sevens version for sure. Is that RPG Prince in the chat? Hello, hello. Hey, Tomato and chat. Welcome on in. Blaze Fiends plus Heavenly Spellbox plus some new Roa cards. Big Fiend box. I mean, potentially. I think we're at the point now where the Heavenly Spell cards would make sense, just because we now have we've got the Sea Serpent, Draw Spell, we now have Elemental Circulation, which are both cards where it was like, well, they haven't given us, like, Trade-In, they haven't given us Ship of 7 Treasures, they haven't given us Charm of Saturn, they haven't given us Heavenly Gift. So maybe they're just not going to because of the way that the game's different, because having like 10 less cards in the deck means you don't need as much consistency. But I think it would be a good time to release it now, to be honest. Are you fed up with Shady? Buy these new maximums. I mean, it kind of is releasing the solution to the problem that's already a solution. So like, yeah, kinda. I'm thinking big update is going to be a slew of alt styles and unreleased Chronicle rarities, judging from the IDs. Yes. So we did talk about those the last stream we did. Let's jump over quick. If we come over here. I believe it's in here. Yeah, these are what we're talking about. The upcoming alt styles. So the question would be, if they did have this as the big update, I assume we would just get the DM ones. And then, like, maybe at the same time, they'd give us the Rush Duel ones, the 7s ones. And then the next update, like, maybe a couple months down the line, would maybe be, like, all of the 5Ds ones. I can't see them giving us all of this all at once, right? I think that'd be a bit weird. Would maximum equals good equal TSA in every deck? You need a way to deal with the maximums. So some decks will just have that naturally. Like if you're playing Light Galaxy and your opponent summons out a maximum, you'll just Galactica Oblivion over it, right? So like that's, you have a in-deck way to do it. So you don't need to like just cram TSA in. But arguably, well, they would go for nostalgia again, Red Eyes Maximum and Fusions. I mean, they absolutely could do, because the Red Eyes Maximum also didn't perform super well, and it does make sense every single time they do a big update to slam in something nostalgia-y. I mean, is there a better maximum for nostalgia other than Red Eyes? I'm trying to think. Is there anything? Just take a look at maximums quick. So we're looking for specifically like DM shoutouts. I mean, like Harpy Ladies was the original one. There's the Red Eyes. Gadgets is, I mean, alright, gadgets exist. And if you've played like the TCG for a long time, gadgets are kind of hype, but as like anime enjoyers, it's got to be Red Eyes, right? It has to be Red Eyes. Like it absolutely has to be Red Eyes. Maybe a structure. If there is a Red Eyes maximum, I'm back into Rush. Oh yeah, the Red Eyes Max is like, it's pretty cool. And we'll take a look at it quick, right? Why not? If I can click all the buttons. So Red Eyes Maxi Flare Dragon. So this is during the turn that you normal summon this card, or if this card is in maximum mode, you can destroy a face down card in your opponent's field. So you could just tribute this out as a 2 tribute 2400 attack monster and pop a face down card in your opponent's field the turn it's summoned. Which is like, that's not crazy, but like it's fine. And then when it's in maximum mode, you get to do that every single turn. And then the L piece. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects, which means you have to attack over it effectively. If this card is in maximum mode, destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict 2400 damage to your opponent. Big burn. And then we have the R effect, continuous effect. During your opponent's turn, spell traps on your field cannot be returned to the hand, deck, or extra deck by card effects. If this card is used for material for a fusion summon, its name becomes Red Eyes Dragon. And notably as well, this doesn't say it has to be in maximum mode. So you can use this part just as fusion material to get out a Red Eyes fusion. There is one, but not Duel Links yet. KK, 2 boxes or 1 big rush box for Worlds again. I mean, we don't know. We don't really know. Again, I don't know if we only got 2 boxes and 2 structures because it was a brand new world. Right, so they might not do that again. Again, it's hard to know. It's hard to know. Yusei Fudo on motorcycle alt style. I don't know if that is an alt style. It's a weird one. Speaking on a motorbike would be weird. I'm in Discord. I'm not on like any Discord. It's very confusing. That is fair. That is fair. I forgot my password. Probably have one. Wanted to add that Red Eyes Maximum. Art looks sick. Wow. Gadgets plus Ancient Gearbox. I mean, potentially, right? I think that the gadgets and Ancient Gear stuff will come out eventually. I don't know if it will come out soon, though. Because those cards are still very, very strong. But yeah, I think it would make sense, right? My initial impression is we could get a box that has a bunch of maximums. Phaser comes out. Maybe, like we say, maybe the starter deck could be Red Eyes. Red Eyes does make a lot of sense to have it be the, like, the nostalgia maximum to bring a load of players over, to bring a load of players back. I mean, already we've got people in the chat being like, yeah, Red Eyes Max sounds sick. Gadgets plus second wave Harpy support. I think people are now just, like, they're just throwing in the wish list at this point. When will they release the Volt Condor support? I'm a fan of it. It's my favorite rush archetype. It's hard to know. It will definitely come out eventually, right? I mean, this is kind of where we get into the other bits and bobs. Because, like, we have... Right, if we take a look here, we can see that this is deck modification pack, Destined Power Destruction, right? So this is a 7 Zera pack, and as you can see, there's some like very mediocre stuff in here. This was actually the box where we got Constructor Worm Build Dragon. This was the box where we got Mirror Innovator. This is the box where we got Semi Ruler and the Worm Maximum. But also, this is where we're getting a lot of the Wind Warriors, right? Digisoon's here, Ensemble Fighters here. So this is like, this is quite old. So like, we've kind of, we skipped over this a lot. We've kind of already had the meat of this box. And now we're going back to get some of the other bits and bobs that we skipped over, which is, like we say, the Wind Warriors. So this is where we are in like the 7s era with like the next stuff that's coming out. This is like Tiger's box, I guess you could say. Ultimate most powerful and broken stuff they could do for Anniversary, Beast Skill World. I'm telling you, the next world, if they do a new world, it could just be Beast Skill World, like as the entire world. Konami seems to hate Beast and Beast Warrior decks. Yeah, I don't know why, it's so weird. But yeah, this is kind of like, this is where the next product 7 stuff we're getting is from, right? So the box that came, well, the box. The stuff that we've also kind of skipped over is Extra Transcend. So this is the Matarian box. Obviously, we've got a lot of the Matarian stuff. We've gotten a lot of this stuff already. But there is some other stuff that we haven't got. Like, we haven't got Chemical Cure Purple yet, which is a bit weird, right? We haven't got Sports Dragon Kickbase. We haven't got Arctork and Worker Warrior. We haven't got that stuff. We haven't got Full Moon Dragon Umbrelancer. We haven't got Hyper Upstart King Rex. There's so much stuff that we skipped over that we're just like, are we ever going back to this stuff? Like, maybe, maybe not. Then this is the box though. This is sort of where we are at the moment in 7s, right? Like actually, like a lot of that other stuff is like stuff we skipped over. That is like a character specific jumping back to an old box. This is sort of where we are in terms of like the rest of the card pool in terms of 7s, right? So this is Chaotic Omega Rising, and here we have, you know, we got some of the traps that we don't have yet for Sea Serpents, but we have some of the Sea Serpent stuff such as Light Dolphin. There's Sea Dragon, Crenidos. We do have the baseball stuff in here as well. So this is kind of where we're at. What haven't we got from here yet, right? We haven't got Miso Instant. We haven't got Meat Spice. We haven't got Leviathan Dragon Daedalus. We haven't got Hunter of Titans. We haven't got Newsflash. And in here we also have Ridacross Ash. This is also the box that gave us Ship of 7 Treasures and Sea Dragon Knight. Like, there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. But this is kind of where we're at. So, like, everything in here is stuff that we should be, like, I don't know, we could expect this at any point, right? I have a suggestion for a new world. I can give it. Instead of doing a new world, what we can do is put the filler arcs of all the animes into the game. For, like, example, we can do Raphael from Darts. I mean, that is something that, like, people have been saying for a very, very long time. Years and years and years, people have been like, give us the filler arcs, give us the filler arcs. And they could. They absolutely could if they want to. There's no reason they couldn't. Yes, we did get her. She's in Shiny Shady art. Well, finally we got her. So nostalgia update, boring. The thing is, I tend to find that what we get is we'll get something new and then they'll mix in nostalgia with it. That seems to be like even in Rush, it's like here's a new update, here's maximums, and here's a Harpy Lady maximum. Here's a new update, here's fusions, and here's some elemental hero stuff to go with it, right? Or Cyber Dragon, like was one of the things they did at the very start of Fusion. Like every time we get something new in Rush, they always sprinkle some nostalgia to get the speed players or, you know, just the nostalgic players over to try out Rush. So that's why we're talking about the Red Eyes, right? Because it just kind of makes sense. So nostalgia does work, I guess is the point. Give us Kawaii. The thing is, Kawaii was skipping so far ahead, Hikari. That's so far ahead, right? We're what? We're talking at the moment about how we're sort of at Phaser, but we've skipped over Rovian and Lulu. And so you're saying skip over Phaser. What even happens after Phaser? Is it straight away Phaser and then straight into Kawaii? I'm trying to think now. It's been so long since I've watched it. I really want to play my filler characters. I mean, yeah, they're cool. But yeah, this is kind of where we're at right now. So like, what could we expect in the future, right? Obviously, the things we just mentioned, Ride Across Ash. We got Newsflash, which is a new fusion monster we could get. We could get the noodle stuff. This stuff could come out at any point, basically. But what comes out after this? Well, after this, we get to this set, which is Genesis Master Road. In here, we already have some of these cards, right? We already have Showering Seferno. We already have Zap Zap Octostar. But what else is in here? We have, specifically, the Reptiles. So we could be getting Reptiles as the next stuff. If we've got Reptiles, we expect to be getting that alongside Gohar Yuga. And obviously, you know, we'd be getting his big ace boss monster, Ecdysis Caliglion. But, like, we know that the next Sevens character we're getting is Tiger. So I wouldn't expect to get Yuga Gohar and the Reptiles for quite a long time. I'm thinking, like maybe even, like, 6 months away. I wonder when Epoch is going to show up. Well, Epoch is another weird character. She shouldn't show up until, like, again, like, maximum, like, time, right? Like, Phaser arc. Another Sevens character? Yeah, exactly. But, like, because, again, it's character stuff, we probably won't see this stuff for a little while. But I think the other weird part is we're already kind of at the stage where a lot of these reptile stuff is kind of already past its prime. But I think we're going to find that with a lot of these decks. So beyond that, so this is Fortissimo the Whirlwinds. This is... Alright, so this is kind of the box we skipped, I guess. This is the big box, or one of the big boxes, where we were expecting to get all the stuff from here. And then instead they gave us Eternal Galactic Oblivion, right? Is it hot over there? Yes, it is. It is quite warm. It's not like crazy hot, but it is quite warm. It is quite warm. But yeah, this is the stuff we were like, oh, we could get this stuff, and then we didn't. Instead, we got, like, you know, Eternal, we got Gigantomachia. So this is the Soul Jersey box. This is the Dark Fairy box. This is the Wind Psychic box. There's more, like, plant stuff. Obviously, we got Neo Plandish, but we haven't got, like, any of the other fusion stuff. Here we have Blackluster Soul Jersey. Like, this is the stuff that we're like... When are we getting this? Plant spotted. Konami skip. Yeah, that's kind of how it feels a lot of the time. But yeah, this is all stuff that, again, we're in the ballpark of this area. This stuff could just come out, bro. Absolutely could just come out at any point. But because we skip stuff, we don't know if we're going to continue skipping or if we're going to jump back and just release this stuff. So any new product that comes out could have just any of this stuff in it. Well, that's not helpful. So here we have Overrush pack. This is another pack. So this is... I mean, you'll probably notice immediately Dark Prophet's in this pack. Right? We have the Blaze Fiends in it. We have some more like Cyber Dragon support. And then we have XQT support. There's a lot of like... And then like a bunch of reprints and stuff. But there is a lot of like really crazy stuff in here. But this is the Dark Prophet box. Right? So we have sort of already skipped ahead to the Overrush pack. Right? Because we've already got stuff from Dark Prophet. So, I mean, if we just keep going, right? So then we have Deck Mod Pack Double Star of the Assault. It's not easy to see here, but this is the Luke box. We also skipped this box. We also skipped Legend Awakening pack, which has, again, a bunch of... I mean, what is even in here? We'll probably just read up here. Cards used by... Who the hell is Nostra? Oh, this guy. No one cares about Nostra. Gavin and Otis. It's kind of whatever. The point is we skipped the box. Then, by the way, the next box was Versus Pack Maximum Force, which, in case you don't know, this is FaZe's boss monster, right? So we skipped over this box, because this box, I mean, you can't really see it very well, but it came out April 8th. Does it say up here as well? I don't know if it does. But this came out April 8th. And guess what came out May 13th, right? So this came out after the Maximums is when we actually, in the physical card game, got Eternal Galactic Oblivion. So we have skipped all the way up to here. So we skipped Versus Pack Maximum Force, we've skipped Legend Awakening pack, we've skipped Deck Modification pack Double Star of the Assault, we have skipped Overrush pack, we have skipped Deck Modification pack Fortissimo of the Whirlwinds. We have skipped all of these boxes and gone straight up to Oblivion of the Flash, which is kind of nuts when you think about it. That's so much content skipped. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Now, what was Versus Pack supposed to mean? I mean, Versus Packs were just, like, a thing. Like, I couldn't tell you exactly, like, what Versus Packs were specifically, but, like, they were just a different type of set that wasn't a deck modification pack. But, yeah, in here we had Supreme Full Steam, we had Supreme Wild Gleam, Supreme Skystream, Supreme Machine, we had Abyssal Dragon Lord, Poseidra, we had Kraken, we had Oki Abyss, just all of this stuff all released in the same box. Then we have like some Abyss Slayer stuff. There's so much stuff that, again, we just completely skipped over. We skipped over all of it. Because, for whatever reason, Konami really wanted to get to Oblivion of the Flash. Now, don't get me wrong, Oblivion of the Flash is a really cool set, right? This pack gave us so much cool shit. But look at the other stuff that's in this set. Celebros is here, right? We have the Vassals and the Monarchs were in this set. We have... God, I'm trying to remember what these are. Star Replacer was in here. Blade Readers, that's just war thingy. Eternal Galactic Oblivion's there. We've got Tamabot Burst Dragon just in here hanging out. Yeah, but this is what I mean when I say it's like, it's really difficult to predict what they're going to do. Because we had like a theme, right? We were releasing stuff in the order it came out, roughly between the anime, roughly between the card game. But then when they just suddenly skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Well, they skip 5 boxes, effectively. So there's 5 boxes worth of content. That, again, we've just completely leapfrogged over. Red Boot Fusion after 2. Yes. So the next box after that is Triple Build Pack Godbreath Wing. And this is actually the box where Harpies came out. Obviously, we already have the Harpies. So there's that. We also then here, this is Music Princess. So these are, again, when Tiger comes out, we're getting stuff from this box. Right? And then the only other thing in here is the Fireworms. There's that. Oh, was that Darkness? No, Darkness was after, I believe. Yeah, Darkness is up here. That's Red Reboot of Darkness. I don't remember when Enhanced came out. Like what set it was in. I mean, we could just find out, right? We have the technology. Red Boot Enhanced Booster Dragon. So this came out in Oblivion of the Flash. So that actually came out in the Eternal Galactica Oblivion box. So, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to predict what's going to happen. Very, very, very difficult. But what do we know we are getting, right? We know that we're getting Tiger. We know that we're getting probably fusions, right? We're probably getting the Wind Warrior fusions. We know that we're getting Tiger in late August, right? We already know this. It's in-game. We know that we're getting Tiger late August, which is cool, right? It does beg the question of, like, when are we going to get some of the rest of the stuff? Like, is late August when we're going to get the new box? Like, because the World Championship, I believe, ends on August 31st. So, like, when are we getting the new... Because we would expect a September box to be a big box, right? Fusion appears on the video. Yeah, but isn't that, like, not the... It's not the Duel Links fusion. It's the fusion from the physical game. Can we see Tiger videos they did? I haven't seen them. Well, I don't know if they're still up, because apparently they got taken down. I mean, we don't need to, like... There's not really much going on, right? A lot of this is just them showing off the new box. And this is because the voice actress that voices Tiger is also the voice of Epoch. And then this is just them being like, yeah, Tiger's coming out. So this is the Overrush Rare, which is going to be in the box as a reprint, right? So like that doesn't say it's coming to Duel Links. I mean, we can assume it is coming to Duel Links, but this isn't them confirming that. There's Tiger just hanging out. Tell you what, we'll turn on the volume for this. So this is all we actually get to see from inside of Duel Links. And there's just little bits of that. I think that's it. The rest of it is just physical cards. So like this is a new card that they're getting, which is pretty good. And these are all from the pack that's just come out. So all of these cards are just, they're now out. Like only as of like a couple days ago, but they are out now. 6 cards in the extra deck. I mean, yeah, but you could put anything in there. Is its effect good at least? Yes. The issue is the cost for the effects is quite high. That's the issue they have. Skill which makes it 1 tribute and adds fusion. Summons the boss with only 1 tribute. Well, let's go back and have a look again then. Let's see what happens there. Yeah, because he's only got 1 monster in the graveyard. Tributes for 1. Does it add fusion? Because it would, right, if it did add fusion, it would have to add fusion like first, like before. Well, I suppose the skill could just add fusion, then tribute to summon it. No, yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. That's a pretty good skill though. The question is, what would it do? Like, it must lock you to, like, the entire deck has to be Wind Warriors, right? Because otherwise you could just, again, like, play this with heroes. Tiger ever goes to play speed, slap some Orcust on her. Feels okay, man. The starting hand number of cards doesn't add up. That's why I think it does. Yeah, I mean, the other thing to remember is that this could just be, like, a debugged version of the game where they could do whatever they want. So, like, it's fun to speculate, but it's never, like a smoking gun, you know? But yeah, we know we're getting that. The other thing we know we're getting is we are getting the one, the only, the Phantasm Spiral Dragon. So we'll be getting this. I don't know where we're getting this. This is a legend. So, like, this could be anywhere, right? This could be a ranked reward. This could just be... Typically, we don't get legends in, like, boxes. And we don't get legend in, like, raffle rewards. We get this as, like... Either, like, we'll only get one copy of it, or it'll be something you have to use a ticket to get. That's typically how we get our legends. So, like, the obvious thing you could be is, like, oh, get it from Wave Duel Scramble. But, like, it would be a weird place to get it from. But the issue is, again, Phantasm Spiral Dragon is not, like... It's not a great card. It's level 8, which means you can't use it with Secret Order. Like, it's neat that you can go, like, Gantry into Build Dragon into Phantasm Spiral and have them all be really big, but that board still doesn't beat Set 3 Pass. It's just kind of fine. It's, like, okay. There's nothing, like, super crazy with it. And then I suppose that brings us back to here, which was the alt skins. If we do get these alt skins, right, if this is the big reveal, and if they do decide to give us Luke and Yuga, my question becomes, what do they give us as their, like, cards, right? You have to have unlock rewards. You have to have, like, skills that work with this stuff. So, Yuga, I feel like this is probably where you give him Skystream, right? Like, you probably have a box that has Skystream in it that comes out around the same time. Yuga will get, like, a generic skill that, like, adds Skystream to his deck or whatever. You know, the generic-ass skill. He'll get some skills for it there. But what do we give Luke here? Like, if this is, like, actually, like, a Luke Man skill. Like, what do we give him? Do we give him Umbra Lancer? Do we give him Zero Gygeus? Do we give him, like, Metageus? Like, I'm genuinely curious as to what we actually do with Luke. Genuinely curious. I mean, yeah, Zero Gears could come out. 100% could be. They will announce the end of Rush service. We need it. We need to save Duel Links Rush players. Maybe they give us Dragius plus 7s things. The thing is, the issue is, if they were to give us... the... Christ, what's it called? What is the boss monster called? The Dragius 7's Road Fusion. Why can I not think of it? It's a card that I've despised for so long. Where are you? This one. 7's Gears, that's the one. If they were to give us 7's Gears, this card is, like, so busted. Like, it's actually so busted. Weird we got Mirror Gears before Meta Gearstar. I think it's just because Meta Gears doesn't make sense. In terms of... There's, like, barely a... Like, even right now, Meta Gears works on Widespread Ruin, and, like, that's it. So it feels really weird to be like... Here's Meta Gearstar. He can give you a whole board protection from Widespread. It's like, uh-huh. Umbra Lancer F. Yeah, we can take a look at Umbra Lancer. Oh, if you're talking about 7's Gear, so look at that one as well. That's fine. So 7's Gears is 7's Rogue Magician plus Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius. This card was really, really bad until we got 7's Wonder Fusion. 7's Wonder Fusion is basically a Miracle Fusion that works for 7's Rogue Magician fusions. So you could turbo this out with just, like, one card. So, you know, you go, I draw 5 cards. One card, I play 7's Gears, right? If your opponent has a face-up level 7 or higher monster on the field, send the top card of it to the graveyard. This turn, this card gains attack equals the number of different types in your graveyard times 700. So you just turbo your graveyard, have a bunch of types. This guy could easily reach like 6,000 to 8,000 attack, and then it can make up to 2 attacks on monsters. Or destroy all face-up cards on the field, which obviously includes itself. And then the Umbra Lancer, this is kind of a Luke boss monster. It's made using Dragon Knight of Darkness and Dragon Bat. Send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard except fusion. Special summon a high-tech dragon monster from your graveyard face up to your field, or add fusion from your graveyard to your hand. Hello, Gunkin, Suship, Shari, welcome, welcome. But then the other things they could give us is Zero Geas, and then Clad Soul. We'll wait for the ads to go away. Because we are in ad town. We'll wait for the ads, and then we'll continue our yap. But they could give us the manga stuff, which is going to be like Clad Soul and Zero Gygeus and all that stuff. Hello, E-Hero, by the way. We'll say hello again when the ads are gone, just in case. But for now, we'll just wait for the ads to disperse. Those pesky, pesky ads. What are we going to do with them, eh? What are we going to do with those ads? Only 20 seconds left. I suppose I should use this time. Check this quick. And we're back. We are back from the edges. So yeah, hello, E-Hero XGP. Welcome, welcome. But one of the other stuff they could give us with the Luke stuff is like Clad Soul Dragon Gygeus. This is send a card from your hand to the graveyard, send this face-up card from your field to the graveyard, then special summon a level 7 Dragon-type monster from your hand to your field in face-up attack. The monster special summon by this effect gains 1500 attack to the end of this turn. So, the obvious card you would probably summon here is like Dragius, right? You could summon out Dragius, it gains 15, goes up to 4000 attack that can attack twice. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Obviously, you lose your Gygeus, that kind of sucks. Most of the time, you wouldn't actually use this effect. Most of the time, you just want to have it as the body. Then, well, I suppose I don't look at that one yet. Then we have Null Strike Dragon Zero Geas. This is another 2500 attack monster. Send 1 level 7 or higher dragon-type monster from your hand to the graveyard. Change the original attack of 1 face-up level 8 or lower monster on your opponent's field to 0. This turn, if this card attacked a monster, it can make a second attack on monsters, so it has that kind of Geas effect, right? And then we have Void Strike Dragon Zero Gygeus, made using both of those level 7 monsters. Send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, change the original attack of up to 3 face-up monsters on your opponent's field to 0. So, the 3 direct attacks, effectively. This turn, this card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters, so that on its own represents 6600 damage. Or destroy a spell trap on the opponent's field. Then you can special summon a monster from your graveyard face up to your field. So just a really good card, just really, really good. And this potentially could be what we get with Lucidian Luke Callister's skin. Which again, we all know it's going to be Luke Man, right? It's going to be Luke Man, it's going to be Yuga Man. In my mind, it just makes sense. Dragius has such toxic fusions. What is this, man? I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Those all sound very toxic Dawnlings. The thing you have to remember is, these are 2 high-level monsters that we have to fuse. So to make this guy, at least making him normally, we have to tribute 4 monsters, have these 2 extra cards, which is now 6 cards total, and then also have the fusion spell to get to this. Just shady the guy. True, just shady it. I mean, that's what we can say to everything now, right? Whenever there's something busted, just shady it. Just shady it, bro. Don't worry about it. Just shady it. But, moving on. We'll go ahead and change this so it looks a little bit better again. We have our tournament results, right? And, as you might have noticed, there's been a bit of a trend. The first 3 tournaments, Light Galaxy won. And then the latest 3 tournaments, Elemental Heroes have won. Which is quite interesting. Because I think a lot of people were expecting Light Galaxy to just kind of run away with it. But it kind of hasn't. E-Hero's been keeping up. And if we take a look over here at the points for top 4, 23-22. It's a very neck and neck race. If we go down and take a look at this pie chart, which is a little bit easier to digest, Light Galaxy Fusion, 34.8%. Elemental Heroes, 33.3%. Barely a percent in it. Like, it's actually insane. Actually is insane. Jointech, the hero always wins in the end. Well, that's the thing. Right now, it's looking like this meta. Bearing in mind, again, we've only had it for a week, right? Things can still drastically change. This is not looking bad, right? We've already got 5 different decks having top 4 finishes, and we've seen a relatively even-ish split among these 3 decks. We've even seen Red Boot and Jointech like doing okay as well, which is quite nice. But this then leads into the tier list that we made, right? Because, I mean, even if we look at the new data that we've gotten, right? Like, the data shows Light Galaxy and E-Hero are, like, on par. Spellcaster is, like, a drop down. And then after another drop down, there's Red Boot and Jointech. And bam, what do we see? The only ones that are, like, weird here are, I guess, these 2. Which is Baseball and Metarian. Like, these are the 2 that, like, aren't really represented. Because even if we go up here and we take a look at, like, top 8 finishes, Metarian has a top 8 finish. But, like, you know, that could just be a fluke. That could just be whatever. But Metarian is hanging in there. It's just not hanging in there as well as Jointech. And Baseball, we haven't seen at all. Like, a lot of people have been saying that they think Baseball is actually fine in the current meta. But we haven't seen it, right? It's literally not had a top 8. I mean, it might have had a top 8 finish. We just haven't got the data here, right? We do have some gaps. But we haven't seen it have a definitive top 8 finish. Which means it's not even on Metarian level. Now, it could be that it's there. It could be that, like, the base